Aloha! Thank you for tuning in to episode number 6. My name is Christina Estrada, partner of Booyah Marketing, where we have deeper connections. Today, our honored guest is Suzanne Kellner Zinck, with 30 plus years of experience working in mental health, healing through hypnosis, helping clients quickly address the root causes of emotional illness when traditional mental health approaches have failed. She has innovated in helping those diagnosed with anorexia, bulimia, and sexual compulsions to overcome their disorders permanently and enjoys assisting teens and college-aged clients who respond well to hypnosis. Public speaker, author, podcaster, a mover and a shaker, setting souls free to live their purpose on purpose. How are you, Suzanne?
Very well, thank you, Christine. It's lovely to be here with you again.
Oh, thank you, thank you. So last we left off, why do kids make great hypnosis subjects?
It has everything to do with their physiology of their brains.
Mm,
You see, human beings have this thing in the front of their head, right here. It's known as a prefrontal cortex. And the prefrontal cortex for females doesn't fully develop until age 25, and it doesn't fully develop in males till 26. I don't know the difference, maybe because males' brains are a bit bigger than females, but that's the fact of life. And this is why parents who expect their children, because teens are still children, to be able to think before they do anything and not be impulsive is ridiculous. Their prefrontal cortex isn't fully developed, so of course they don't think about the ramifications of what happens after the fact. They just do it. They're in the moment. That's what being a kid is all about. And if you ever had a kid and you're trying to get their attention and they totally ignore you, guess what? It's because they're in their natural hypnotic state. It's totally normal. So parents, do your job and recognize the fact that kids, even though they want to believe they're adults, are not adults yet. You still have a job to do.
right, right, right. So my other question though is why don't the state licensed mental health providers use hypnosis in their practices?
Because they're not taught to do that. A very interesting and frustrating thing happened when I took my very first course in my doctorate program in psychology. We're given a textbook, and in the textbook, chapter 4 had a beautifully written chapter on the history of hypnosis. Do you think it was assigned for reading? No. So I let my classmates know if they actually want to learn how we know how to help people heal, read the chapter. And of course, I told my instructor that I realized that she didn't write the curriculum. She needed to also read the chapter because the only way to truly help people to fully heal using any kind of talk therapy is through hypnosis and neuro-linguistic programming, which is a form of hypnosis, as we talked about previously. It's a beautiful, easy thing to do, but you have to know how to work with it because it's a totally different practice with totally different needs than what they learn in, shall we say, clinical psychology, where they are talking to the prefrontal cortex. I bypass all that. I go into their amygdala, where their emotions reside, and into their hippocampus, where their really imperfect memories reside. And when we do that, we're able to actually get our clients to understand what they need to understand and do the healing work. It has to
Mhm.
happen in the subconscious mind. And if it doesn't happen there, because sometimes the defense mechanisms, as we talked about a little bit before in the last program, for those who didn't hear that particular interview, we have to bring them up to what we call their higher conscious or super conscious, because the defense mechanisms are all in the subconscious mind. So the late great Milton Erickson would say, the reason our clients are our clients is because our subconscious and conscious mind are fighting one another. So you have to get it
Mm,
out of the way. And you do that, well, at least I do it, by giving them a very simple suggestion. At the count of 10, they're going to be in their higher conscious mind. And believe it or not, they go there and they're with their God, Jesus, whatever it is, universe, nature,
mm,
and they're able to really heal very quickly and effectively. And with kids, going back to kids, because they're in the hypnotic state all the time, they're really good at imagination and fantasy. And hypnosis is mainly fantasizing things, imagining things, and that's why they're really great clients. And it's fun. We don't want to be stuck in all of this, I don't know, sad, horrible stuff. We don't have to. I mean, certainly I can go there with clients, and a lot of times they need to because they've held in their sadness and their anger for so many years. But we would prefer to do it in a really fun, easy way because it's a lot easier to let go of this stuff this way rather than going into the deep, dark things that they need to do. But it depends on the client and where they have to go. So we just have to be very flexible and do what they need in the moment when we're working with them.
That's so interesting. So, um, how do your clients heal quickly and forever using hypnosis and NLP without any drugs?
Well, again, what we're doing is we are going to where that material resides in their brain, quite simply.
Mm.
And when you go there, you can find the root cause of the problem. So I'll give you an example of a person I helped yesterday, just off the cuff. She said that she was having a problem selling her services. And I said, do you be willing to do some hypnosis with me? Do you have an hour? And she said, yes. And her problem was fear of being seen,
Mm.
SEEN. And the reason for that was because of things that had happened when she was very, very young. So I
Mm.
had to help her clear issues with her father. I had to help her clear issues with her mother. And apparently she was molested by somebody when she was a teenager as well. So I helped her clear all that. And then after that was all done, we were able to help her figure out her best way to get her information out into the world, which for her is speaking. All in an hour.
Wow.
And this was stuff that she's been holding in from the age of 3, from the very first experiences that she was working through. 50 years, 5 decades, people.
Wow.
Who says that
50
you need to see a
years.
therapist forever to not have anything cleared and healed? It's ridiculous. And by the way, the reason that we do that in clinical psychology is because there's this man called Sigmund Freud. You might have heard of him. And Sigmund Freud went to the Nancy School of Hypnosis in the 1800s, and he had 2 hypnosis teachers, and neither one of them were able to teach him how to hypnotize anybody. So he decided he sucked at doing hypnosis. And he also found something sexual about it. It's not sexual, people. This is Freud and his sick mind. But anyway, he decided for marketing reasons, and I found this out in that chapter 4 that I was talking about in that textbook, right? That he would create his own method of helping people with therapy. And he calls it psychoanalysis.
Mm.
And that's when we got stuck in this whole concept that we see people for an hour every freaking week for the rest of their freaking lives. I want to ask you, how many of you actually want to be stuck with your problems, going in to reinvigorate the problem every time you talk about it, because you're not doing it hypnotically, you're doing it in your conscious mind,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
to create the problem and make it worse every week? And this is why a lot of people who go to therapy feel worse after their sessions instead of better, because it
Mm.
doesn't help to talk about the same stuff over and over again. No, you have to clear it and move on. That's what
Yes. Amen. True. So, so true.
And we don't need
So,
drugs. The drugs
yeah.
suck. And the reason the drugs suck is because, number one, they've never really been tested, not truly.
Mm.
The pharmaceutical companies do pseudo testing. They take out the subjects, the people who don't fit the parameters that they want to prove for their testing. They write up the research in such a way as to make it sound like it's worked, but it actually hasn't. If you actually look at the statistics and you understand relative risk versus actual risk, which is
Yes.
the problem with all the COVID stuff that was coming out. They said it was relative risk. We don't care about that. You want to know what the actual risk is, which was about 0.002% of the people actually came down with what we'd consider COVID in reality.
In
That's a
reality.
fact. Yes. But if
Wow.
you don't understand the statistics and how they play around with these numbers and make things sound differently than what they actually represent, then you don't know that.
Mm.
So this is the problem. And then if you also think about pharmaceuticals, who are they testing on? Usually college-age boys. Well, do you understand that women have a lot more fat on their bodies and that children and older people don't metabolize things the same as, I don't know, teen or 20-year-old guy?
Yeah.
So how can you prove anything works on anybody other than that particular population? It's ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
So we have some major problems that way. And then what happens is with the drugs, if you know people who are on antidepressants and these other drugs, they'll talk about having fuzzy thinking, so they don't have clarity of thinking, and they also have an issue with being really dulled emotionally.
Mm.
Not to mention, they don't have their libido anymore in a lot of cases, especially with the antidepressants. Now, the other really bad thing, and I did a paper on this, actually a capstone paper for my master's in, what was it? What was my master's in? Public policy, but it was medical sociology under public policy. And in that master's capstone, it was a paper called What Makes a Mass Shooter a Mass Shooter? And that's when I found out that our reporter found 23 of these mass shooters. Every single one of them had either been on a psychotropic drug, that means a drug for psychiatric illness, or
Wow.
had shortly just been taken off it. Every single one. And I'm going to tell you this,
What?
serotonin reuptake inhibitors, the SSRIs, they're taken for depression and given a lot for anxiety as if they're freaking candy. They have a black label on the box that the pharmacy has, right, where they take the pills out of.
Yes.
And that black box says, can create, or I don't know how it's exactly stated, but teens and college age youth or something, they're getting to the younger people, can become homicidal and suicidal on these medications. That's the
Mm.
black box warning. Why in the hell are you passing this out like candy to these kids?
Mm.
It's ridiculous. Instead of understanding, like some of the psychiatric nurses who came in to see me and even brought their children in to see me because they didn't want their kids on that crap, and they knew I could help them heal a lot quicker
Mm-hmm.
for this very reason. Although there was one psychiatric nurse who was really funny. She said, she had a son who was put on anti-anxiety meds, and she found them like all over the place, like even in the couch cushions and everywhere. And that's why she brought him in to see me to help clear it. Yes, the psych nurses themselves. And I had another psych nurse who laughed with me about the idiocy of giving these medications for anxiety because they don't really work for most of the people. Placebo effect
Crazy.
people, 30% of the people get what they need to get from these meds. That means it fails 70% of the time. Those are your odds. That's the reality. Don't care if you like that or not, because what I'm here to tell you is if you check out the work of Dr. Irving Kirsch from Harvard University, who
Mm-hmm.
did studies on placebos using serotonin reuptake inhibitors, and Walter Brown from Brown University, who replicated his study, you'll find that's a fact. They've only been doing this for 40 years. I think they know what they're talking about.
Yeah. Yeah. No kidding. No kidding. Oh my goodness. You have so much information. Oh, and
One more thing I
yes.
want to say, okay, before you get
Yes.
on. When we put people on medications
Yes.
for psychiatric illness, they don't take them off it. And let me tell you something, I had my own situation many, many, many years ago. I was diagnosed with what was known as a manic depression back in 1989, a long time ago, before bipolar was a thing. And I was put on lithium, very high doses of lithium, because they were worried that I might cycle up into mania. Because when they put me on an antidepressant first, I cycled up, and that's how they found out that I had manic depression, right? So I had hypomania, that means below mania, right? No
Wow.
psychosis. Well, after taking that stuff for 10 years or more, it's probably closer to 20 years at that time, my kidneys started shutting down. Just started to slow
What?
down. I had a very good psychiatrist. She had me do a creatinine level of my urine, and we could see the slowing down just starting. She took me right off it, and thank God, Tad James, who
Oh yeah.
developed timeline therapy, a form of neuro-linguistic programming, 5 minutes helped me get rid of the manic depression. That was back in Valentine's Day weekend in 2004. It's never been a problem. Trust me. When you spend 6 months in the bed not wanting to do a damn thing, in 6 months, generally when the sun started, I don't know, when we went ahead and the sun came out earlier in the day, running around like a lunatic with so much energy and just kind of a crazy person. It's very embarrassing to go into some of the things that I did there, so we don't have to go into that, but stupid things. In any case, I don't have those problems, and it's pretty easy to understand because I have something called, I don't know, a normal range of emotions now, and I don't have to be high or low. I can just be normal. And that didn't happen for 20 years. So that's how I know from my own experience. And I found out something very interesting the other day too, because I was trying to figure out why the timeline therapy actually worked, doing a research project for my doctorate in psychology. And although there's no testing to say this, from Todd James or any of the people who might have done any testing on this, but it so happens that bipolar, manic depression, same thing, is caused by dysregulation of dopamine. So
Mm.
somehow being able to deal with the three negative emotions that I had to clear to get rid of it totally regulated my dopamine because there's no other reason for that to happen.
Wow.
Pretty cool information, brand
That is
new, just about a day or so ago.
that is amazing. Oh my gosh. Suzanne, you are truly amazing. You have a monthly paid membership where all members can have all their questions answered on the subjects of hypnosis, neuro-linguistic programming, NLP, medication, psychiatric, medical issues, and nutrition for an hour a week. The membership calls happen at 1 p.m. Eastern Time on Fridays. It costs $25 a month. It is like having your own private advisor with 30 years of experience to answer your questions. The monthly membership link is down below, along with other links to find more about Suzanne and her work. Please click the subscription notification and thumbs up. A Booyah Marketing, a hooey ho, until we meet again.